Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nexiphor Cast, where we highlight forward-thinking leaders who are shaping the industry. Today, I'm joined by Jennifer Perez, founder of Texas Skyline Properties. Jennifer, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Jennifer, can you give us like an introduction about yourself, your journey, and show us how you got started in this business from the first place?
Sure. Well, it all started when I was a baby. No, I'm kidding. So, I mean, it all started really whenever it was the financial crisis here in about 2008. My brother was actually a real estate broker and he had given me the idea to get into real estate. At the time, I was going to school. I was trying to I was getting my bachelor's in legal studies. I was thinking I wanted to be an attorney. And one thing that he brought up to my mind, he was like, "Well, you either want to get $90,000 in debt or you want to make $90,000." So I thought, well, let's give it a try. So I did, and it really completely changed my mind because while people were kind of running from the career, I was
Yeah.
running to the career. And it was during a time that was very difficult in our nation, and I really didn't realize it until I started to really be dealing with the people that I like the clients and the people that I started to meet. That's
Yeah.
how I got into it.
Okay, great. And as I know, like off record, you mentioned that you started by also helping families who were like literally losing their homes. And you even got like certified on short sales. Now, how did that shape the way you see your role as an agent and now also as a broker?
Well, I mean, it kind of like really shaped everything because whenever I started to meet a lot of these families who were losing their homes with foreclosure because they just couldn't afford it, and as everybody knows, a lot of these lenders were not even asking all of the questions to try to get someone to get qualified for the loan. And so I
Yeah,
would sit down at these tables with these families who were losing everything, all of their life savings, everything that they had. And it really kind of like changed my perspective. It wasn't so much about the money because a lot of times as a real estate agent, you're thinking about that paycheck, what you're gonna, how much you're gonna earn, and it changed me completely in that sense that this was somebody's livelihood, somebody's life, and it gave me compassion for the people. It I learned through the practice how to
of
just do a
course.
transaction completely different. And even today as a broker, I use the same skills and I approach every single transaction with that same mindset, to protect the client, to educate them, to be honest with them. And that was one of the things that I had to really, really speak to people and tell them,
Yeah.
honestly, if you don't do this or if you don't sell your home, I know this is everything to you, but you're going to lose your house and then you will never be able to buy another house for another 7 years or 3 years or however long it was in their situation. So, it helped me really shape the way that I approach real estate, um, to have those uncomfortable conversations, but at the
Yeah.
same time to help me be who I am today.
Well, that's awesome. And also,
Yeah.
when was like that turning point that you thought that, okay, I have to like open my own company and go also on my own?
So I started over 15 years ago. And, I started accumulating a lot of the deals myself. I think we talked about it before. I
Yeah.
started when there was no social media or whenever it was starting, but really the only way that you knew a house was on the market is looking through the magazines. A lot of the bigger firms that were out there back in the day, they had all of the listings that were out there and things like that. And as an agent coming from a small firm, we didn't have that luxury to have that money
Yeah.
for putting people's listings on there. So coming from a situation whenever I had to start from the ground up, it kind of really, really changed my perspective on the whole industry in itself. I don't know if I
Yeah,
answered the
and
question.
yeah, you did. And also, how was like running your business also during COVID? As I remember, also got your license back then, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So just, it kind of okay, so whenever I went through all of the situation where trying to grow my business and things like that, um, since I had developed a good clientele, it was a lot of things that I did, door knocking, a lot of the old school things that I did. I actually met who is my husband now, and he said, "Well, why don't you start your own firm? I mean, you have the experience, you have the
Yeah,
clients, and sometimes you need somebody else to come and tell you you have this potential." When I really never thought about it, and because I was a single mom of 3 boys, and going to school, doing real estate, I never had time for networking. I never met anybody outside of my circle. It was kind of
yeah,
like go with the clientele. So I really never had that exposure. And because internet and social media was so new back then, you don't have all of the positivity that you see now on social
yeah,
media where people can tell you, "Oh, you can do this." So it wasn't until, who my husband now said, "You should just start your own firm. I mean, you know what you're doing. You have a legal background," because I was also a paralegal for 15 years. And so I had this legal background. I was very particular about things. I was very informative. And he said, "You have what it takes." And then, throughout the years, I would work with agents who sometimes didn't have the training, and they were in really great firms. I mean, I thought they were great, but they had no idea what they were doing. And
yeah,
because I wanted to make sure that, that I was the person to close the deal for my client because I'm representing my client, I wanted to make sure that the deal closed. I would have to do both sides and I would have to
yeah.
counsel the other agent what to do. So, he gave me that idea, and so in 2019, I went and I said, "Well, let me try it out, get my broker's license. If I pass it, then that means that, because I believe God has opens the doors." I said, "This is something from
Absolutely.
God." And I
Yeah.
took the test, I passed it my first time, and I started, and then 2020 hit, and then COVID
Okay.
hit. And
Yeah.
I had to kind of think, all right, what am I going to do now? Because I can't go out and network and try to recruit and try to do all these things. So that kind of changed the whole perspective of, having a brokerage. But, I am where I am now.
Of course, and I can see like because of all of those struggles, like you turned out great in the end. So and I can see like everything is going like so far so good, right?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still a broker. A lot of companies have closed down. Sadly, I've met a lot
Yeah,
of brokers throughout, my career, but a lot of them have just they couldn't take it anymore, or how
yeah.
right now the market has slowed down, so a lot of people are not even doing real estate anymore. So, for me to still be here today, just
It's a
it just
winner.
shows a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, absolutely. And as I know, I like you focus like mainly on commercial and also like I can say on the residential. Which of these two, which clients do you like prefer to work with the most?
Well, I'm
On
gonna be
which area?
honest. So I'm gonna be honest, and I mean, I love residential. I still do a little bit of residential, and I only do it to repeat clients that I had known for 15 years or more,
Mhm.
or had done a transaction with me before. But I really am just focused with commercial. The reason why I like it is because these clients are more number set. There's no
Yes, yeah,
emotion involved. They don't care if the place looks ugly, or they don't care, that they have to replace the restroom or whatever it
yeah,
is. Like, that's not even what they're looking for. They're looking for the numbers, the location. Is it going to give me a return for my investment? That's all I want. And
exactly.
that's what they look at, the numbers. For a home, it's like, And it's a little bit difficult sometimes as a woman because a lot of times it's the men who go out and they seek for the home, but then the wife is the one that makes the ultimate
Yeah,
decision, a lot of times.
of
And then they
course.
don't like the kitchen, or they don't like this and they don't like that. So a home that I probably picked out with everything on their checklist, they don't like it because of one little thing. So then you have to start the
Of
process
course.
all over. And, for me, that kind of the emotional, I've already had a lot of emotion in my life.
Of
With going
course.
through a lot of issues, I don't need more emotion. So I
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
things
got it.
that are black and white. And so for me, I focus more on commercial. So a lot of my clients who do want to do repeat business, it just depends on the client. If not, then I do give the referral out to my agents.
Yeah, I
And it's
fully,
being
I
honest.
fully, yeah, yeah, I fully understand you there. I would choose the same space if I would were in your case. So yeah,
Yeah.
total honest. So from your perspective, what do you think are like the biggest trends I can say for the last 5 years, maybe 5 to 10, depending how long you've been in the business? Some trends that you've seen like have changed in the this industry overall.
Yeah, I mean, so social media has been such a big thing that is new. And for us who are a little bit older in age, I won't say how old I am, but I was born in the 80s,
Okay,
we had to learn social media. And now with
of course.
AI, I mean, that's just something completely different that is out of our comfort zone. So the industry has changed so much in that sense where there is some kind of like a facade with people where you think they're being so successful in doing this and doing that. They're beautiful. I mean, you have some amazing, agents that look beautiful and you want to work with
Yeah,
them. And, you just have this facade and then you see reality, and there's a reality. And when you actually look at those people and how successful they are, or what they know and the knowledge that they know, it's not really what they portray. So you have to compete with that. And for
yeah,
us
yeah,
who have been here from the beginning, where I was telling you when I started, I had a fax a contract to
yeah,
to the lender. I had to fax things, and had to really keep up with the time. So that has really changed, greatly as far as that. Um, for my area, and I can't really speak for other cities, but really for Houston, it really has changed because of the economy. Houston is a big oil and gas, city. And so the prices and the crash for oil and gas and the ups and the downs and the COVID and just the waves of buyers that have come and go, we have become so diverse now. And I am happy for it that Houston has become more friendly to entrepreneurs and to investors. There's a lot of opportunity over here. We're very investor friendly, and
yeah.
I'm really happy about that, because we are able to do business outside of just residential. We're looking at people who want to be here long term, which is something that I focus on.
Nice, awesome. As you were talking about this trend, as in this case, like AI or technology, how much do you think have the client expectation have changed over the last 5 or 10 years? Because in the past, clients like had to do more physical stuff, like to go like live to see like the property, deal with like physical letters, and now like everything is online. And how much do you think this has impacted, either in a good way and also in a bad way in the industry?
Can I be honest with you? I think that all the
Absolutely.
young investors, they expect more of the AI, the more of the,
Sure.
you know, video. And I have done it myself with some of the clients that I've had that are younger. I'd say they're in their 20s. I'm 20 years older than them. So they expect all of this high tech things, and we give
Sure.
it to them. Whatever they need, we'll go and we'll do a virtual tour. We'll do 3D tours. We'll do whatever we need to do for them specifically if that's what they need. What I do see a lot is that a lot of the people who are investors are still older. They still like the old school type of things.
Yeah,
Yes, they want it to be easier, but they're still a little bit old school. Even though they're trying to adapt, they still like the hands-on because I've seen that they have had, you know, two different sides of it where they have bought a property unseen through virtually, and then it's not whatever they think of because they're depending on a realtor to give them the information, but sometimes it's not exactly what they want. But they still like that hands-on. They still want to go see it for themselves. They still want to measure it out because one thing is using AI and one thing is using measurements and things, and it you can't see that four dimension that whenever you're there in person, is that exactly what you're looking for?
yeah,
So I see a
absolutely.
lot of the people who are older investors still like to see, things that are palpable, things that they can feel and touch. The younger generation, the younger investors that I have worked with, they really don't care. They like the AI, they like the virtual showings, they like everything that has to do with technology, and we can, you know, do what they ask, and they work with it, because they sign off. We have them sign off, so we have a specific type of contract or agreement that, if they wanted to have their showing that was virtual or things like that, and they buy it unseen, then they get what it's as is. They get what they get. Basically, is what the agreement says. So we got to kind of adapt to that. But that's what I have been seeing right now with those trends with the AI. So there's a positive and a negative for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also agree with you on that part because from the client perspective, I also think that the only, I can say, bad impact is just for those clients who are maybe in late ages, like 75 plus or 17, 70, sorry, because of like they cannot still accept this whole evolution of AI. They
Yeah.
cannot like accept talking to a machine like talking to a person. Even though it's hard to recognize that they still just want like, hey, connect me with an agent because I don't want to talk to you. And also
Yeah.
all of these like great designs, great AI creation, visuals, 3D as you mentioned, like a virtual tour. All of these like can, as I know, this can feel like a scam for them. And this is why they
Yeah.
always like need to feel that personal touch, personal view. So they have to go live, check the house and everything. And yeah,
Yeah.
and I also think this is only for the late ages because AI overall is like shaping the industry. I've seen like in the real estate overall, like it's a game changer. It's the one thing that's like keeping you ahead of the competition because most of the leaders are like still afraid overall. Leaders of the companies are still afraid like to automate stuff, because they are afraid that of automation will fail. The AI can like cost them a client. They still need like that personal touch. But from my perspective and what I've seen from, I can say, big leaders in this industry, it's kind of the opposite because if you are like automating stuff, like you are removing costs, I can say, you are saving more money for yourself, more time. Because let's say I'm a client who's trying to reach out to you, okay? I may be trying to reach out from WhatsApp, maybe website, email, Facebook, it doesn't matter. And if I don't get a response back within 10 minutes, I'm gone. I will go
Exactly.
to the next competitor because speed in
Yes.
this case is super important. But with AI in space now, AI would reply within seconds, with reply like the correct answers based on the leads questions, and also will qualify the leads. So you as the owner or maybe your agents, you then have maybe to hire 10 people just for customer support, just to stay online and respond back to people. But the AI will do the whole thing, will qualify the lead. And if the lead maybe spend 2 hours talking to the AI and it's not maybe a hot lead, you didn't lose 2 hours because you personally weren't there, but the AI were doing. And just like AI is a good person because AI can do this with 100 people at the same time, So you're not like keeping anyone busy. So I think
Yeah.
overall it's like a game changer, depending like how advanced you use the automation.
I think one of the things that a lot of people our age, I mean, we're trying to adapt. I'd say the 40 plus because a lot of my clients are already older. They have the money for investments and things like that.
Sure.
They're afraid that they always have that mentality. You never get something for free. There's always something hidden behind that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they have
exactly.
that fear that, "Oh, I'm talking to this
Yeah, it's
AI.
a trap.
They're getting all my information." I don't know, they have this
Yeah,
fear
yeah, yeah,
behind.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
had
understand.
yeah. I had this experience where like I reach out, I can say, to a potential client using email, which of course was automated because I automate, I can say, most of my business.
Yeah,
And like the person was like on late ages, so as I mentioned, 60 or 70 plus, and he asked me like 10 questions before like we had a straight connection. Is
yeah.
this AI trained by my question? Is this like stealing my data? Where is my name is
Mhm.
gonna be? So I can fully accept your thoughts on this because they are still scared because they can be like publicly can be get shamed on public for some reason. So
Yeah.
and they
Well, they had a lot of
that
movies back
trauma.
then. They had a lot of things like Terminator and all of these
Yeah,
movies that
yeah,
we
yeah,
grew up
yeah.
on, so we always have that fear. But I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fully acceptable. And as we were
Yeah.
talking about, let's say, AI, what are some, I can say, operational challenges in your business so that you maybe would like also to automate? Let's say some repetitive tasks, some frustrating things, maybe some things that the automation can just like take it out of your way so you can like focus on scaling faster, raising more money, closing more deals.
I think what a lot of people and I have talked to other, brokers that are friends of mine, it's the time that you have to spend because I know that with AI and with automation, you had to feed the information. A lot of it
Hmm.
you have to give it the information that it needs in order for it to automate an answer. And then
Of
sometimes
course.
when you do give it what you want, it's not exactly who you are or who your business is. So you got to
Sure.
perfect it. And so I feel like it's the time that it takes that people don't want to spend the time to sit down to automate it all. And I know it may take, some time to do it. And a lot of people don't want to sit down and do it. They want it to be, and regardless how old you are, you like the fast food, you like the fast things.
Of
You want
course.
it to be
Yeah, yeah,
like, you should already know what I'm feeling. You should already know what I'm thinking. And
yeah.
so I
Absolutely.
think that is what stops a lot of people from trying to automate a lot of things. It's because they have to sit down and they have to take that time. And even if you hire somebody, they don't know who you are. You still have to
Sure.
tell them who you are and share with you that, this is not how I would answer that, or this is, so I think it's more or less the time for somebody to really dedicate it and to make sure that it's done the first time so that they don't have to continue doing it and it doesn't become a headache. So I think that's what stops a lot of agencies and a lot of people. I know that's one of the things that I struggle with because you try to automate something and then I test it out. They give me an answer and I'm like, this is not me. This is not
Yeah.
what I would answer. But it was AI that kind of thought that that's what I would answer. So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of what stops people from doing it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
fully agree. And I think that this pain point was, I can say, in the beginning of this AI empire, when ChatGPT was first announced. Yeah, it was this like super annoying to just like share information all the time to the AI, in that case, ChatGPT, to get like the results. But as we
Yeah.
know, like AI, it's evolving day and day and day. And now there are a lot of ways for you to avoid that time consuming part. I want to mention
Yeah.
two of these. The first one
Yep.
is the website scanner. Let's say you can ask your AI to scan all your website. And we know that all our websites have like the crucial information for our companies, starting from
Mhm.
about us, services, location, everything like which is required to know. You don't have like a copy paste it with an AI. You can just write it to AI, scan this domain, let's say www.company.com, and it will do
Yeah.
all of this. And also, let's say maybe in all, it can also like scan contracts,
Yeah.
documents. So everything already you have, you can just like, like upload it all at once. Let's say how you like do the contracts, how you do the following, the onboarding stuff, everything you already did in the past with the clients, you can just like bulk upload it at once on the AI, and the
Yeah.
AI will learn from it on the first time, and you will be like prepared because yeah, it can be like frustrating in the first time, but then you're like safe for future, I can say, repetitive tasks or automations.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's the thing
Yeah, I
that a
fully
lot of
agree.
people don't understand that. That they feel
Yeah,
like it's something that they have to continue to be changing, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, I do know that it evolves with you and with your company. And, as an owner of a company, you start off thinking or doing things a certain way and you're going to evolve and change. And so your AI
absolutely.
will do the same thing with you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I,
I wanted to share like an interesting thing I noticed, like called before this one. So there is like
yeah.
an interesting automation which is like helping people, or like let's say you as a company, like you get traffic in different kind of channels. Okay, so you like get traffic from your website, from your Instagram, maybe Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, emails, all of these. And what this automation I found on is like you can like create just one dashboard or one CRM, and you can see all of the people who reached out to you on all of these channels. So 5 to 6 different channels, all connected to one dashboard, to one AI, and also the AI will respond back to each one of these channels. So, and I noticed it was a game changer for the company because you didn't need 5 guys to stay online on different channels, one for WhatsApp, one for Facebook, Instagram, website, email, all of these. But the same AI can be like trained, and the same AI will respond in seconds within all of these channels. And you as the owner, let's say you can see like all of these can be logged within just one CRM. You don't have like to create different kinds of automation, which is like I've done like this for a client, and it was like a game, I can say a game changer. Also in cost, also in lead qualify, because you can qualify lead on all the channels you get in traffic. So overall, it was like a great idea.
I think the other thing that a lot of small businesses or even small firms, it's the cost.
Yeah,
They're afraid of the cost. And I do know that with AI, I mean, it is, everything the components and everything that you have with they feel like it's just going to be too expensive. But I think with our age or with people that have small businesses is to really give them numbers of their return on their investment, because
yes,
a
I
lot of
agree.
them, they don't have that budget for that. They're already spending money on, whether they have an office or they have this or they have that. And for them to be able to have something that can work for them, they're afraid of the cost.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
that's every small business owner, because if they wanna scale, it's gonna cost them something, and to be able to budget for that, I think that a lot of them don't want to. And so, I mean, that's one of the issues that you would have with the small business owner. The larger firms, I mean, for them, it may not be as easy to drop the money either. So it doesn't even
Of course.
matter. But I think it's the cost that a lot of people are also afraid of, with AI.
Yeah, I fully agree on that part. And I want to ask you like a question. Like I ask this question to all of my guests. So if you would have like a magic wand that would solve maybe 2 to 3 operational challenges, what would those be?
Um, One would be recruiting and the onboarding with the recruiting. I think that's one of the things that I would, if I have a magic wand, is to help with the recruiting and have people that are experienced and to stay on board. I think that would be my magic wand to be able to do that.
Awesome.
That would be one of the things that I would have. The other thing would, if I have a magic wand, somebody like another Jennifer to do everything
And
that I'm
AI
doing now,
Jennifer.
and
Yeah.
AI Jennifer to do
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing, because that would just I could be sleeping and the AI Jennifer is still doing everything with my
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
thoughts, with everything I'm doing. So those would be my 2 things that I would want.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Jennifer, it was great having you on our podcast. It was super fun, insightful, and inspirational conversation. And for everyone who is watching this, keep growing, keep thriving, and I will see you on the next episode.